Welcome to Transport Vlog. My name is Paul and I'm at Central Station, and in this video I'm going to bring you bang up to date with all the work that is happening here as a result of the Sydney Metro project. This will include a brand new station entrance, new tracks, platforms, concourses, escalators, lifts, canopies, strange holes and some things that are older than me. The Transport Vlog YouTube channel recently reached 5,000 subscribers, and I'd like to thank you for subscribing, watching my videos, liking, commenting and sharing them with others. It really means a lot to me. Let's start with how the Chalmers Street entrance looked on the 6th of February 2022. Appearing above the hoardings on the left are two concrete pillars and a small part of the roof. On the right you can see the concrete external wall and another pillar. By the 13th of March a whole lot more scaffolding had appeared in preparation for building the rest of the concrete roof and further supporting pillars. By the 25th of April a number of temporary vertical supports had appeared. This is to create the concrete wall on the Randall Lane side. I'll show you some footage from Randall Lane shortly. This is now on the 29th of May and much more of the roof had now appeared. It's now the 7th of August and the scaffolding has been removed to reveal the completed roof. The roof is supported by these 6 pillars, which are only at the front, so once within the entrance there will be minimal vertical supports, so that will improve capacity and visibility. Here is an artist impression of this new station entrance. It will include 3 escalators, 2 lifts and some stairs leading up to another entrance on Randall Lane. In this artist impression of the rear entrance on Randall Lane, passengers will go through this arch and then down the stairs. Notice the doors here and the windows further along, and the 6 brick-clad vertical supports. Let's see how this is all progressing. So back to the 6th of February, and this is how it was looking from Randall Lane. A small part of the roof and 2 concrete supports are already in place. This is on the 13th of March, and the Randall Lane entrance will be about here. With more scaffolding and blue covers, I know that lots of work is happening, even if I can't see it as yet. By the 25th of April, more of the concrete roof is becoming visible, along with part of the wall here. Now looking from the other end of Randall Lane. By the 29th of May, all the concrete walls were visible, along with several vertical columns. The arch-shaped entrance will be over on the left. These doors here might be to access storage rooms or other non-public areas. You can now see the roof more clearly and some horizontal beams about halfway down. Below the horizontal beam on this side will be a number of windows. By the 7th of August it was looking like this, with all the external scaffolding removed, and as you can see it's really starting to take shape. The entrance will be where this black fence is, and you can see the start of the stairs here. And now the rest of the building, including this area where the windows will go. Let's take a closer look at this. Most of the roof is now complete, except for a couple of gaps, including this one where the crane mast currently is. Below the roof is a complex cable management system, which I guess will be above the internal ceiling. And this is the other end of the building, which I don't think will be used by passengers. And here is a quick reminder of how this side will look when it's finished. Now you may be old enough to remember that the answer to life, the universe and everything is 42, and 42 is also the number of new escalators that are being installed at Central Station. Prior to the Sydney Metro project, Central Station had just 10 escalators. So if I've done my maths correctly, 42 new escalators represents a 420% increase. Let's discover where all these new escalators are going to be. So from the artist impression image we know that there are 3 escalators at the Chalmers Street entrance, but there are 3 further escalators to create a switchback arrangement, with passengers accessing Central Walk from these escalators further down. And then there's the 2 lifts and the stairs that lead to Randall Lane. So 42 escalators minus the 6 at the Chalmers Street entrance means there's 36 more to find. The Suburban platforms, so that's platforms 16 to 23, will be getting escalators for the very first time. 15 of them in total. Let me show you where they're all going to be. 6 of these escalators will serve the southern parts of platforms 16 to 21. And behind these hoardings are the first 2 of these escalators, which will serve the south end of platforms 16 and 17. Peering through the blue covers during June, and it looks like these 2 escalators are pretty much finished. And in early August, one of these escalators was moving. all the new Suburban platform escalators will go to an underground concourse called Central Walk, which currently looks like this. Now the south escalators for platforms 18 and 19. In June, these look pretty finished as well. The glass screens around the side and the back of the escalators provide a barrier for passengers standing or walking nearby. On the 4th of August, these escalators were all lit up and raring to go, and on the 7th they were moving. These are the south escalators for platforms 20 and 21, and you can actually see them behind the blue covers. Notice the glimpses of Central Walk as these escalators descend. And I think this might be the new lift shaft for platforms 20 and 21. I'll cover the new lifts in more detail soon. No passengers as yet, just a solitary coffee cup. This was back in February 2022 when excavation work was taking place. And a month later in March 2022 when the escalator work had just started. In early June the escalators were in place and white panels were starting to appear on the walls. And by the 17th of July all these panels were in place. Now in early August, and one of these escalators is having a moving experience. The south end of platforms 22 and 23 will have a single escalator. I'm assuming the reason for this is the narrower platform on this side. This is how it looked in March. And by June this escalator looked pretty much finished. And now from the other end, this was also in June. And in early August it was moving and ready for passengers. On the north side there will be 2 escalators on each of the island platforms. This is where the new north escalators for platforms 16 and 17 will be. The north escalators are at an earlier stage of construction, with excavation work still in progress on some of them. And that's probably why they are all boarded up like Fort Knox, so nothing I can show you. Let's see if I can show you more of the new north escalators for platforms 18 and 19. Not much to see when looking south. Looking towards the north seemed more promising, but nothing of interest. As you can see, the blue covers go all the way to the roof, so we're out of luck here too, or are we? As luck would have it, I was passing through Central on the 7th and 8th of May track work weekend, when all the hoardings had been temporarily removed to reveal the area where the future escalators will go. So as you can see, platforms 18 and 19 were closed to enable this work to take place. Most of the work to build these escalators is happening at night, with track work possessions at weekends to do the most intensive work. So now for the new north escalators for platforms 20 and 21. Looking south, the sides and glass barriers are in place, but no sign of any escalators as yet. Now looking north, and it looks like these wooden boards are over the future escalators. And finally, the new north escalators for platforms 22 and 23. This is looking south, and the new escalators are in place. Notice the black rubber tubes for the future handrails. And now looking north, and the rubber handrails will soon go on top of the glass panels that are on the sides of each escalator. This was how it looked in early June. Each Suburban Island platform will also get a new lift. These will be between the new north and south sets of escalators, and like the new escalators, they will also connect with Central Walk below. I'll start with the new lift for platforms 16 and 17. As you can see, the top of the lift shaft is clearly visible. And from a train you can see the lift entrance. The hoardings were removed during a track work weekend in early August to reveal more of this lift. Now for the new lift for platforms 18 and 19. It looks like the lift doors will be on the south side, as you can see here. This is the only lift so far that has these markings on the platforms on either side. This is cool. The lit up area below is Central Walk. The Central Walk tunnel will be 90 metres wide, so very spacious compared to the existing passageways. You can just about see the bottom of the south escalators. This is the new lift for platforms 20 and 21. You can see the top of the lift shaft above the hoardings. These new lifts seem to blend in very well with the existing canopies. In late May, there was no sign of the lift shaft, so I reckon it went in during June. Now for the new lift for platforms 22 and 23. So again, it looks like the lift doors will be on the south side. The lifts look very spacious, and along with the escalators will be a welcome addition to these platforms. During the weekend closures, other work such as retiling the platforms has also taken place. This was on platforms 20 and 21. And now on platforms 16 and 17. The new tiles make the platforms slightly higher than they were previously, and that should make boarding and alighting a little easier. Until this work is completed, there will be a few slopes like this one between the old and the newly tiled platform's surface. Here's a closer look at some of the completed tiling, which look the same as the tiles used for the floors in the new Northern Concourse. Now, what has been a mystery for me is how the new central walk is going to link with the underground platforms 24 and 25. I think I've figured it out. So as you know, Central Walk is a new underground concourse that links platforms 16 to 23 together, and then connects with Sydney Metro via the new Metro Concourse that runs north to south. I'll come back to that soon. In the other direction, the existing Eastern Suburbs passageways that link to the two sets of escalators are in the way of Central Walk. So Central Walk will run through and open up parts of the existing Eastern Suburbs passageways to create a lot more space. It will then continue to the new Chalmers Street entrance. So I'm now coming down the stairs from platforms 22 and 23 at the north end, and then turning right towards the Eastern Suburbs Concourse. Central Walk is on the other side of this wall, although a little further to the south. Now turning right, and you can see two escalators for the Eastern Suburbs line. The Northern Concourse entrances are now behind me. The blue Sydney Metro fencing behind these escalators is purely to store equipment. This wall on the left is temporary and will be removed when all the work is finished, returning this passageway to its previously wider width. This door on the right goes to the Suburban tunnel, which is now closed. More on this later. These white hoardings on the right are where Central Walk starts, providing access to platforms 23 to 16 and the Metro Concourse. And on the left is the existing lift down to platforms 24 and 25. With the lift now on the right, you can see how this whole area towards the new Chalmers Street entrance will open up. I'm assuming that this wall surrounding the lift will stay, along with the walls surrounding the existing stairs to platforms 24 and 25, which are now coming into view. Now continuing towards the Southern Concourse, and with Central Walk behind the hoardings on both sides, you can see how well it will connect with the Eastern Suburbs underground platforms. Plenty of new cables hanging from the ceiling. So it looks like Central Walk will continue to these stairs, which will provide quick and easy access to and from the Southern Concourse. This lift on the left is new, and I'll take a look at that in a moment. Now heading towards the Southern Concourse, and two more escalators for the Eastern Suburbs line platforms, although one of them is currently being repaired. Now looking the other way, and this lift, which opened during 2021, provides step-free access from the Southern Concourse to Central Walk, and the existing lift for platforms 24 and 25 that you saw earlier. This new lift is about here on the map. I'm currently on platform 16, and behind me is a new canopy and a lift. To understand more about this, we need a little history lesson. In this area here, there used to be three tracks that served platforms 13, 14 and 15. These were dug up to allow the Sydney Metro Concourse and platforms to be excavated below. With this nearing completion, work has started to replace two of the tracks, and they'll need some new platforms. So the existing platform 12 is being widened and will become an island platform that serves both platforms 12 and 13. And a new side platform is being built to serve the other track. This will become platform 14. This is on the 28th of March 2022 on a train coming into platform 16. Coming into view is one of 4 square holes that allow equipment, materials and construction workers to access the Metro Concourse below. The rest of this area has now been covered over. After the first square hole is a crane, and then the second square hole, which currently has a machine that is providing temporary ventilation. Now coming into view is the platform 14 lift shaft, which has some of the curved glass panels in place. You can also see glimpses of the platforms 12 and 13 lift shaft behind it. Now the third square hole, and the start of a small platform building. And now the fourth square hole, which is a little harder to see. The lifts for these new platforms are also in the middle, so they line up with the lifts for platforms 16 to 23. Now 3 weeks later on the 16th of April, and the first square hole has been extended to the south, and the upper level is becoming the edge of platform 13. And just here you can see the Metro Concourse below. This is where 2 escalators from platform 14 to the Metro Concourse will go. Here is the second square hole again, along with the platform 14 lift shaft. And now the third square hole, which has been extended northwards all the way to the fourth square hole. That's quite impressive progress in just 3 weeks. So the 2 new escalators for platform 14 will be here on the map. This is now on the 5th of June, and here is the new platform 13, then the track bed for the 2 lines, and then on this side the new platform 14. The track bed currently finishes just here, and that's because this larger level area is still required for cranes and other machinery. And here is the hole again for the 2 new escalators that will go to the Metro Concourse below. The ventilation machine is still in the second and now the only square hole. And here is how the longer section that replaced 2 of the square holes now looks. A platform building will go here, and in front of that is another hole where 2 more escalators will go. So platform 14 will have a further set of 2 escalators at the north end. And platforms 12 and 13 will also have 2 sets of escalators at the same locations, although it's not possible to see these as yet. So that's 8 more escalators located, which means there are still 13 left to find. Now I bet you weren't expecting this. This lift view used to be covered by hoardings, so it's wonderful that this has been opened up. Platform 13 is on the right, and in the middle is a fantastic view of the track bed for the new lines that will serve these platforms. Then over on the left is platform 14. This was taken on the 27th of July. The track bed currently ends at the blue hoarding, which is where the remaining square hole still is. Let's take a closer look at this from a train. So the track bed is in the middle between the fencing, and it looks like the edge of platform 13 currently ends here. The blue hoarding that I showed you from the lift is here, and the ventilation machine in the remaining hole behind this hoarding has now gone. In the level area behind this hole is a huge crane. This is how it looks at the other end, with the track bed in the middle, which currently finishes here, with the crane using the remaining larger level area which is coming into view now. Warning: open penetration. No, let's not go there. Back in the lift on the 7th of August, and 3 electrification gantries for the new platforms 13 and 14 tracks had appeared from nowhere. And the new track beds now have a yellow colour. The platform canopies are getting closer to completion. Let's take a look at them. Back in January 2022, the platform 14 canopy finished just after the new lift. As you can see, it now extends further south. Both canopies have these smooth rounded ends, which gives them a futuristic look and reminds me a little of the Star Trek Enterprise. They have a flattened arch shape which is designed to blend in well with the existing station canopies. And the canopies are supported by these steel columns which are about 15 metres apart. Here is a better view of the canopy for platforms 12 and 13, and as you can see it looks pretty much finished. The new canopies extend as far as the existing canopies on platforms 10 and 11, which is enough to cover the first 6 cars of a train. They have been designed to allow cables to go behind the white panels. This is the platform 12 and 13 lift shaft, which extends all the way to the canopy roof. Here is the platform 14 lift, with the canopy ceiling still exposed to allow further cable work to take place. On the south side, this lift has these grills, and the doors are on the north side, which is the opposite side to the platform 16 to 23 lifts. The ventilation and services buildings on the south side continue to evolve. And as you can see, there are now 3 distinct buildings. And they feature this artwork on the outside. Let me know what you think it represents in the comments. You can now see the connecting sections between each building. And here is the view of these buildings from the other side on platform 11. It looks like further work is happening on the roof. This is how the services building on the north side is now looking. As you can see, it starts immediately after the canopy and continues to the back of the new Northern Concourse feature roof. And you can see the back of this services building on platform 14, and the canopy extends beyond it on this side. The requirement for these services buildings is one of the reasons for not reinstating platform 15. The junctions for platforms 13 and 14 are now in place, and this V-set that is coming into platform 11 has just gone over the new turnout that connects with this new track that will run into platform 13. This Waratah train is coming into platform 12 and is now crossing this new turnout that will allow trains to go into platform 14. And then it crosses the new platform 13 track as it comes into platform 12. Let's take another look at these new junctions from platform 11. This new turnout on the platform 11 line will allow trains to run into platform 13, and this involves crossing the line into platform 12, with this track currently finishing just here. And this is the end of the track into platform 14, which is connected to this turnout on the platform 12 line. Here are the new turnouts and tracks on the map. Trains will use the existing crossovers further south to access the correct approaching track. Back in October 2021, these turnouts were nowhere to be seen. But they had appeared by January 2022, but I hadn't noticed them, probably because I was eyeing up this unfinished services building. Now for a little steam interlude. On the front is this 35 class loco which was restored by Transport Heritage New South Wales. And behind that is the legendary 3801. This 38 class loco is the only streamlined steam loco to survive in New South Wales. These locos were hauling the New South Wales Rail Museum Express, and this was on Sunday the 17th of July. As you probably guessed, it was taking these lucky passengers to the New South Wales Rail Museum at Thirlmere and then back to Central later in the day. The last carriage is the lounge car and comes with its own observation deck, so you can see out the back. Link to the New South Wales Rail Museum Express in the description below. Now back to the update. So all the escalators that I've covered so far are not yet in use, but these four are, and have been since 2021 or possibly even 2020. You probably recognise and have been on these escalators that link the Northern Concourse with platforms 1 to 12 and soon platforms 13 and 14 as well on the upper level. And earlier in this video I mentioned that prior to the Sydney Metro project, Central Station only had 10 escalators. Well, 2 of these original escalators used to be on the Northern Concourse, so let's go back in time. I've obtained permission to use this footage from more locations that shows you how the Northern Concourse looked in 2018. These are the 2 original escalators, which are right up against the Heritage Central Electric building. I reckon they are about 200 to 300 metres east of the new escalators and stairs. You can see the original low roof above as well. These original escalators, being further back, came out at platform 12, which was alongside this edge of the Central Electric building. Part of platforms 9 to 12 were filled in at this end to create additional concourse space, with these platforms being lengthened at the other end to compensate. This is the Eastern Sydney Terminal building, which is now adjacent to the top of the stairs. Thank you very much to More Locations for letting me use this footage. To watch this 2018 Central Station walkthrough video in full, click the icon now appearing in the top right or the link in the description below, and check out his other videos too, as he often does transport related walks and train rides too. Do you remember this stairway? I believe it went to the Suburban tunnel. I'll show you what was left of that shortly, so keep watching. So here are the 4 Northern Concourse escalators on the map, which means that there are 9 more still to find. And there are also 2 lifts here. Let's check them out. These 2 lifts behind me connect platforms 8 to 12 and in the future platforms 13 and 14 as well to the Northern Concourse below. But in the future they will also go to the Metro Concourse. The lift on the left is currently not in service, but it has been in use in the past. So I use the lift on the right instead. And you're greeted with the lovely view of platforms 13 and 14 that you saw earlier. Notice the temporary names alongside the buttons, which actually make much more sense to passengers. And the not in use button? Well, that's for the Metro Concourse, which is slightly below the Northern Concourse. I'll show you some glimpses of that soon. And here is the Northern Concourse. The 4 escalators are on the left and the ticket gates are straight ahead. Back in 2021, both of these lifts were in use for a while, and to the left of the lifts was a temporary entrance that led to the remaining part of the Suburban tunnel, which is sometimes known as the Olympic Tunnel. It was open at various times in 2021, but has now disappeared behind this white hoarding. Here is some footage that I took before it was closed. This is the temporary passageway, with doors on either side for construction workers to access the Metro Concourse construction site. Once up these stairs, it looks more like the original tunnel. The stairs to platforms 16 and 17 and 18 and 19 were over on the right. The stairs for platforms 20 and 21 were on the left. These were the Suburban Tunnel stairs from platforms 20 and 21, and behind that you can see the stairs from platforms 18 and 19 that led to this same tunnel. These stairs have now been demolished to make way for the Central Walk escalators on the north side. This is where they used to be on platforms 20 and 21. Also on the left were the stairs to platforms 22 and 23. And then the tunnel went around to the right to link with the Eastern Suburbs Concourse via these doors, which were open back in 2021, but are now closed and locked. Here is the platform 24 and 25 lift that you saw earlier, and the future Central Walk now appearing on the right. So is the Suburban Tunnel closed for good? Well, I'm not quite sure. Obviously, there will no longer be access to platforms 23 to 16, but it could reopen to provide an alternative link to the Northern Concourse. We'll have to wait and see. The eastern part of the upper platform level that is close to platform 16 has now been opened up. It doesn't go anywhere at the moment, but it does provide some alternative views of the Northern Concourse and the original heritage buildings. In the future, this area will enable passengers to access platform 14, which is behind this white hoarding. See if you could spot the end of the services building and glimpses of the platform canopy. The external restoration work on the Central Electric building appears to be complete now. And this concrete bridge-like structure that is supporting this building looks new. In May 2021, it was supported by a combination of metal girders and possibly concrete or some other material. This is how it looked in early June 2022, and now in late July. I'm guessing that the concrete has been put on top of the metal girders to create additional strength. Notice the tiles that will soon cover this whole structure. Below these concrete supports are the new ticket gates. I think these opened late in 2021. If you know a more precise date, do let me know in the comments below. Now looking at the east side of this building, the original concrete and girder supports have now become this arch-shaped support with much thicker columns. Between the Central Electric building and the Eastern Sydney Terminal building, some screens have appeared. To understand what is going on here a little more, we need to remember that the original floor was at this level. Flashing back to 2018, and you can see the original floor and screen between these two buildings. In May 2021, there was this supporting beam where the floor used to be. I first noticed these screens in June 2022, and their purpose is to prevent passengers accessing this area without going through the ticket gates first. And that was the purpose of the original fence too. Here are the panels from the Eddy Avenue side, and what looks like a new ceiling above it. Similar glass screens have recently been installed on the east side of the Eddy Avenue entrance. The ticket gates used to be on this side, but they are now straight ahead. Restoration work has also been completed on the front of the Central Electric building. In early 2022, work was ongoing to complete the feature roof on this side, and this has now been completed. Let's take a look at what is behind these blue and white hoardings on the left side. Behind the blue hoardings, these two construction workers are walking down the steps to the new Metro Concourse. And if you look closely, you can see the lift shaft and bits of the lift mechanism for the two lifts that will in future serve this Metro Concourse. So as you can see, the Metro Concourse is just a little bit lower than the Northern Concourse, so not enough to require escalators. Notice the supporting pillar here and the much larger supports on either side. There are further supporting pillars inside, such as this one. This is a quick photo that I took through a gap in the blue hoardings on the 4th of August. The stairs going down are here, and these are the pillars for the canopy that covers the roof area. The lifts and escalators for the metro platforms are on the other side of these pillars, so you can't see these from here. However, I reckon these could be the south escalators for platforms 12 and 13. Now looking into the white hoardings on the other side, and you can see another set of stairs and further supporting pillars. So to recap, the 8 new escalators and the 2 new lifts for platforms 12 to 14 and the other 2 lifts that serve the Northern Concourse will all go to the Metro Concourse. And access to the Metro Concourse from the Northern Concourse will be via a short set of stairs. Passengers from platforms 1 to 14 will access the Metro Concourse via the 4 escalators and then the stairs, or directly by using these 2 lifts. In this artist impression image of the Metro Concourse, you can see the stairs to the Northern Concourse at the back, and then the north escalators for platforms 12 and 13 on the left and for platform 14 on the right. And then 3 escalators that will go down to the Sydney Metro platforms, and behind these, and a little difficult to see, are 2 lifts that will also go down to the Metro platforms. So the 3 Sydney Metro escalators will be about here, and the lifts will be around here, so that's still 6 more escalators to find. In this artist impression image, which is closer to the south end of the Metro Concourse, we find 3 more escalators for the Metro platforms. They line up nicely with the south escalators for platforms 12 and 13 and platform 14, which are on either side. Just here is the entrance to Central Walk, which is at the same level as the Metro Concourse, so no stairs or lifts required. So the second set of 3 escalators will be about here, and passengers coming from Central Walk are likely to use these escalators to access the Metro platforms. The 2 glass lifts for platforms 12, 13 and 14, which line up nicely with Central Walk, will allow natural light to filter down to the Metro Concourse, and natural light will also filter down from glass panels between the escalators and lifts on either side. Let's take a look at this. On the left is the hole for the platform 14 south escalators. Then under these boards are glass panels, and here are some that are not covered. The lift brings in additional natural light. This is followed by more glass panels which are currently covered over. Here is another peek into the Metro Concourse from where the south escalators on platform 14 will go. This was on the 18th of June. And now on the 24th of July. By this time the frame for the escalators had started to appear. You can see glimpses of the Metro Concourse from where the north platform 14 escalators will go, and like the south escalators, you can see that part of the edges of these escalators are starting to appear. There will be 3 further escalators for the Metro platforms at the south end of the Metro Concourse, making that 9 escalators in total. And each of these 9 escalators is 45 metres long, which makes them the longest in the southern hemisphere. So that completes my quest to establish the locations of all of the 42 new escalators, with the locations displayed on this map. I also discovered 13 new lifts, and that includes the new lift at the south end of the Eastern Suburbs Concourse. On the Metro platforms, which are 27 metres below ground, all the platform screen doors have now been installed, and it looks like the Metro platforms will be numbered as platforms 26 and 27. So will the Metro Concourse have any access from the south side? Well, it could link into this passenger tunnel, which is slightly to the north of the southern tunnel, but that would involve demolishing this wall after the platform 16 and 17 stairs, so I think that's unlikely. The southern tunnel looks more promising. Let's take a look. You can see the stairs to platforms 16 and 17 here, and then the tunnel bends slightly to the right. Temporary walls then appear on either side, and I think these stairs might bring this passageway to the same level as the Metro Concourse, but I'm not certain of that. Assuming it does, then the Metro Concourse will be either side of these 2 temporary doors. So some of this area could be opened up to provide access to the Metro Concourse. The passageway bends to the right again and is now heading northwest, and you can hear work happening nearby. Here are 2 more temporary doors, which are probably being used by construction workers. The passageway then bends around to the left to these stairs, and then after the stairs it rejoins the original southern tunnel that has further stairs leading up to platforms 4 to 11. Now looking back towards this passageway with the exits to platforms 4 to 11 behind me, and according to the Interchange Access Plan document, link in the description, this passageway will connect with the Metro Concourse from this side. So expect to see an entrance or passageway to the Metro Concourse perhaps at the bottom of these stairs. It will be stairs only, as step-free access is available via the Northern Concourse. The stairs to platforms 4 to 11 would be towards the middle of the Metro Concourse, And some stairs leading to the east side of the southern tunnel could be possible too. Let's see what happens. So 42 escalators and 13 lifts later, this became a very in-depth update on Sydney Central Station. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, do leave a comment or question below and I'll do my best to answer any questions. Also subscribe if you haven't done so already, and also consider supporting me on Patreon. There's a link in the description below. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.